Welcome back. In this edition, I'm going to answer the question, how do I read my accounts receivable report in Quickbooks? So the first thing that I want to show you is how to actually get to the report. So in Quickbooks, under reports, customers and receivables, the first report, AR aging summary, that's the first one we will look at, and then also the fourth or fifth one down, the collections report. We'll also look at that one. So the first one, this report shows you all of the balances that are owed by your customers. And so in the bottom right, this balance, the $9,707, that should actually agree to your balance sheet. If it doesn't, that means that there's something wrong with this report. So contact your accountant, your bookkeeper, get them to help you get that taken care of. But let's dive in. The first column is the current column. And so this column shows you the amount that's owed from your customers, but it's not considered past due. So an example would be for Paxton Consulting. Let's pretend like we provided service and sent them an invoice on August 1st, but we gave them 30 days to pay. So the due date's not until August 31st. Well, on August 8th, we ran this report, and the customer Paxton Consulting shows up in the current column because it's only been 7 days since we provided service. The customer is not considered past due. So the next column, the 1 to 30 days, this reflects the amount of money that the customers are past due, anywhere from 1 to 30 days. The same logic of past due dates, that applies to the other columns as well. And so if they're past due anywhere from 30 to over 90 days, they're going to be reflected in those far right columns. Please notice that I am using the phrase, the number of days past due. I am not talking about the number of days since you actually provided that service. The accounts receivable reports are driven by the number of days past due. Here's an example of what I'm talking about, the difference. So with Russell Chiropractic, on July 7th, we finished up our service, generated the invoice. We told them they had 30 days to pay, and so they didn't owe us until August 6th. We ran our accounts receivable report on August 8th. The customer shows up in our 1 to 30 day column because the system is looking at the difference between the due date of August 6th and the date we ran this report, August 8th. The customer is past due 2 days, but keep in mind it's actually been 32 days since we provided that service. Here's another example. Woods Garden Cafe on June 1st. We provided the service, mailed the invoice, sent the invoice. The due date is July 1st, 30 days later. Ran the report, same report, August 8th. This customer shows up in our 31 to 60 day column. The report considers them to be 31 to 60 days past due. The system is looking at the number of days since July 1st, 38 days. But look at this, it's actually been 68 days since we provided that service. So for 68 days, we have given this customer an interest-free loan. We have paid our employees for the labor that was provided to complete this job. We've paid our vendors for the materials that were used for this job. We've also paid rent, probably twice. We've paid our utilities and our insurance and all of those other things, our overhead, twice, while we've waited for this customer to pay us on time. This report is very misleading if you do not fully understand the story that it's telling you. It's very easy to quickly look at this report and think, oh, well, Woods Garden, it's only been 31 to 60 days. It's not a huge deal. I can just take care of it. But keep in mind, it's actually been 68 days since you knocked their socks off with great service on June 1st. The longer time period that goes between the actual service date and the actual collection process, the less likely you are to actually get paid for that service. So really take the time to understand the difference between past due and the actual number of days that you've actually carried that customer since the actual service date. Here's another report that I recommend that you look at, the collections report. And please notice that it does not show you every customer. The total down at the bottom right is going to be different because it does not show you the customers that are considered to be current. So notice that Paxton Consulting that was in that current column, it is not reflected on this report because we do not need to pick up the phone and make a collection call with that customer. This only reflects the people that we actually need to take action. We need to pick up the phone, send them an email, take action to collect that money. This report is very helpful because it provides the contact name, phone numbers, invoice date, due date, the invoice amount. It provides all of that information that we need to make those collection calls. So this is a very great report to look at. Just to recap, please keep in mind that this report, the summary report, it shows you all of your customers and what they owe you. Should be used by you, the business owner, and the accounting clerk. So when you actually meet every week, every other week, depending on when you have meetings about your accounts receivable balance, this report is very helpful because you want to look at all of the information, the people that are past due. Because you might be surprised that someone's on there, even in the current column, because you may be thinking, wait a minute, they were supposed to pay at the time of service. So this is a great report for you just to really get a very good understanding of who all owes you money in your business so you can plan your cash flow. This report is very helpful when you are looking at only your past due customers. It's the perfect report for your accounts receivable clerk to use when they are making those phone calls. Please keep in mind that the fastest way to have profit in your pocket is to make accounts receivable collections a top priority. Instead of hyper-focusing on increasing sales, you need to spend a little bit of time actually being paid for the service that you've already provided. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please sign up for my email blast. That way you can be the first one to find out when I release new information to help you have more profit in your pocket. Thank you so much for watching.